In this video, I want to show you how to extract lineaments in ArcGIS. I will take it step by step and explain it step by step. So let's get started. So our lineaments will be extracted from this very digital elevation model. So the technique we are going to use is referred to as azimuth altitude ratio technique. And I have a paper here which is extraction, mapping and analysis of structural lineaments using geospatial azimuth altitude ratio technique on a digital elevation model. So this paper, we are going to follow this technique. You can read this paper from Adaviruku et al. 2023. So you can read this paper to know more about this technique. So most importantly, take a look at this azimuth altitude ratio. So we are going to use this azimuth altitude ratio 315 to 45, 200 to 50 and 150 to 65. We may likely use this theory. So this method is what we want to use. So you can read more about this paper to see how this method works. So let's go back to ArcGIS. Now to do that, the first one is to produce the hillshade of our study area using the digital elevation model, and then using this technique azimuth altitude ratio. So to do that, come to Arc Toolbox, then come to Surface and come to Hillshade. Double click it. Then our input raster, click here and select the digital elevation model, and then our output, click here and save it in your working folder. And then the first one we want to do is 315 ratio 45. So we can just put here 315 underscore 45. So this is the azimuth altitude ratio. Click on save. Here you can see the azimuth and the altitude ratio. Then the Z factor, leave it at 1 and click on OK. This will run and create the hillshade of this very area. Yes, it is done. This is the 315 ratio 45 azimuth altitude ratio hillshade. So the second one, according to this very technique, is 200 ratio 50. So come back to hillshade, double click it. Then our input will still be our digital elevation model, and this time around our azimuth will be 200 and the altitude, let's check it out, altitude is 50. So here enter 50. Then our output location, let's call this 200 underscore 50. Click on save and then leave the Z factor as 1 and click on OK. Yes, it is done. Then the third one is 150 ratio 65. So come back here, click on the hillshade, and our input will be the digital elevation model, and here this one will be 150 ratio 65. Then click on the output location and name it as 150 underscore 65 and then click on save and click on run. Yes, it is done. Now let me close this page. So what this does is that it enhances the lineaments. You can read it on this paper to get more information about this method. So what this does is to bring out traces of lineament in this area. So at different azimuth altitude ratio, the lineament are enhanced. So at 150 ratio 65, you can see it. Then at 200:50, you can see the traces. And then at 315:45, you can see it well enhanced. So the one that is missing here may likely be captured in the next ratio. So now it is time to extract the lineament. To extract the lineament, we have to create the layer. So come to your catalog and come to the folder where you are working. Right click and come to new and click on shapefile. So here let's name it as lineament, and the feature type will be polyline. Then the coordinate system, choose the same coordinate system as your map and click on OK. Then click on OK. So the layer has been created. Now it's time for us to extract the lineament from this map. And to do that, right click this lineament and click on edit feature and click on start editing. Yes, it's now in editing mode. Then come to create feature and then select your lineament and then pick line 2. Then you can now zoom in, and these techniques assume that the hillshades at different azimuth altitude ratio enhances the image for you to extract the lineament. So here is traces of lineament. That's one. Here and this one. So this is how you are going to extract the lineament. So you can zoom in to see it well. Here is one. Trace as many as visible here. Okay, this is another one. That the next thing we can do, we can check, for example, this 200:50. Check it to see. Okay, this is one. You can see that the lineament are enhanced at different azimuth altitude ratio. So let's go back to 315. So this is as much as I can extract from here. Though one of the contention on this method is that it's subjective. Subjective in the sense that another person may choose to vary the azimuth altitude ratio. But from experience, and as also discussed in this paper, these are the best ratio so far from which you can extract lineaments. So subjective in the sense that another person may choose to vary this ratio, but in all, this ratio of azimuth altitude prove to be more effective or enhance the lineament extraction process using this method. So you can read more about this method in this paper. So let's go back. So I've extracted the lineament found in this area from this digital elevation model. Then come here, come to editor and stop editing. Click yes to save the edits. So let me move down. If I uncheck our digital elevation model, and here I can right click and unlabel it. So these are the lineaments found in this very region or study area, and they are mostly in the central region of the study area. So this is how to extract lineament from this digital elevation model in ArcGIS. Thank you for watching.